Oh man, that's really low. So that's a factory spec. So our German spec is Gudentight. Got an interesting situation here. This is my 04 Ford Ranger, and I've got an issue where it is not getting power. Let's see. Let's see if it'll start. Nope. So, interesting thing. This kind of left me stranded in traffic on the way to the parts store and hardware just to get some stuff. I ended up having to cancel my trip because, well, we really had some issues. I was stuck at a light. It was a left-hand turn lane. Luckily it was a double left-hand turn lane, so you know, I didn't have any issues with completely blocking traffic. And I was fortunate enough to have this battery booster. And the battery light on this thing was coming on. I was getting a lot of weird symptoms. The gauge cluster was dead. The turn signal stopped working. The engine was just barely running, and it shut off. A couple of power boosts out of this jump pack on the battery got it started enough for me to barely drive it home. But I had to turn off all of the power consumption stuff on it. So headlights, heater, everything had to come off because otherwise I wasn't going to make it. And it was dark, so not the greatest situation to be in. So it's still giving symptoms of a low battery here. I don't know if it's the alternator that's not charging or not. So we're going to do a little bit of diagnosis here. I did forget to get my meter, so let me come back and we'll diagnose this. All right, we're back here. Black to black, red to red. It'll go. There's a little boost button here. So hopefully this will let us start and I can actually do some diagnostics on it. Battery light right there. See how many volts we read. Oh man, that's really low. So that's 10.2 on the battery. hoping I could find a spot to probe it, because I'm hooked up to the positive there. Here, let's just do it off the body. Yeah, it's really low. Let's go back post to post. 8.2. So and off the terminal, not just the post, but the battery terminal, we're at 7.9. So this is falling fast. I'm going to roll up my window while I can. It won't let me. But I think our alternator is no longer with us. Let's hook up the booster again. Okay. All right, come on, dog. Come on. What I'm gonna do is hook this up to a battery charger. Looks like we are out of juice. Man, my hands are so freaking cold. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so according to my phone, it says it's 21, and it feels every bit of it. What is this? It was down there in the battery tray. I don't know what that is. I don't know, maybe it came off from a gauge set from a set of AC gauges. Oh boy. These frozen paper towels in here. Alright, good. Well, where did my socket go? We'll find out later. Alright, seems like it's charging. Come here. Come on. Do you see a socket in there somewhere? Because I frickin' don't. What in the world? Oh. Ha! Right there. Alright, well, we're going to need to come back to this one. Pretty sure it's an alternator because, you know, you should be able to read more than 10 volts. It doesn't seem to be charging like at all. So we'll let that battery cook on the charger overnight. We'll see if we can get our voltage back, if it can get above 12.5, 12.6 volts. And if it can, it's probably good, but it looks like we might need to do an alternator on this guy. So just a little bit of background, because I haven't really talked about my Ranger on the channel. But this is my 2004 Ford Ranger. I bought it used in 2007, and I've owned it ever since. This is only the second time it's really broken down on me. You know, the first time was the fuel cutoff switch melted, and I fixed that just by bypassing the switch altogether. And the second time was here with this alternator, where it almost left me walking. Fortunately, I had that battery jump starter to get things going. But I've always done maintenance on this thing, and it's just been the absolute most rock solid, reliable vehicle I've ever had. Actually, there's one other time it broke down on me, but it wasn't really the truck. It was the factory battery. It was the Motorcraft battery that came with this vehicle. It had split open and left me stranded in the desert. But you know, really, other than that, it's been all Gucci as far as this vehicle goes. It's got 175,000 miles on it or so. It's not doing too bad overall. The AC still blows relatively cold. All of that. So I've just done maintenance on it. Looks like we'll end up probably doing an alternator on this. All of the testing with the meter I just did really indicates a bad alternator. And, you know, again, 170, 180,000 miles isn't too bad for an alternator. So we might do a repair and a replace on that here as a part 2 to this. We're back here. It's been about a day that I've been letting this battery cook here on the charger. It says it's charging and maintaining. It doesn't have a bad battery warning, but just to make sure, I did get this little gizmo. It was very cheap on Amazon, and it is a battery tester. It's supposed to let you test your battery just to make sure that it's still good. So this is an Optima, and according to this, it's supposed to have 910 cranking amps, 720 cold, and a 44 amp hour battery. Let's hook this up and let's give this thing a shot. Battery out of vehicle, regular battery, cold cranking amps. So let's put in 910. Oh wait, cold cranking amps, 720. Enter. Testing. Okay, so it says we are all good. So I think what we'll need to do is go as you can see, it's a very frosty night. These battery terminals don't look corroded or anything. I do make a habit of spraying them with wool wax, fluid film. So let's reconnect those. And this tester is supposed to test for charging as well. Battery and vehicle charging test. Okay, let's start this. Not getting any light on my instrument cluster. Not good. Well, I think we are stuck having a bad alternator. Now, I'm not too surprised. This alternator has been kind of noisy for a little while. I had kind of already planned on replacing it. So that's all the confirmation I really needed to know as far as things go before I popped on a new unit. So minus the core, the price on that at my O'Reilly's for a 130 amp alternator, I believe the price on that is kind of expensive. So I am going to get the Motorcraft unit because why not? And that will not be here for several days because they do not have it in stock. So that sucks, but it is what it is. For now, what we can do, we can at least reinstall the battery. Get that reconnected. This little 8mm socket. And today, let's try and not leave the socket on the bolt. All right. I think that's good and secure. I ain't going nowhere. Anyway, like I said, I'm gonna have to order that part, and once it comes in, we will be doing an alternator. Also, an oil change. This is in need of a service. One other thing that I've got to do is this also needs a pair of shocks desperately up front. This just rocks back and forth like crazy, especially if you're going over gutters and dips and stuff like that. So we'll be doing a lot more with this truck in the future. So we'll have to come back once we get that alternator in and go from there. All right, we are back here working on the Ranger. It's a little bit of a rainy day, but hopefully that won't slow us down too much. Earlier in the video, I might have mentioned that we're going to be looking at doing the alternator, and I got some shocks and maybe a service, but it's raining. And I don't want to crawl around on the wet ground today, so we might just cut this video off on doing the alternator, since I can do that from the top of the engine. So I'm going to get set up here. We're going to get to work. We do have all of our parts, including our shocks, but the most important one is this. Which is our alternator. Looks like it doesn't come with a pulley. It did come with a nut. So looks like we'll have to transfer that, but that's where we're at. I'm gonna finish getting all set up to do this swap, and we'll get into the action. I think step one is we need to get this air cleaner hose or intake hose out of the way. And we need to get at this belt tensioner. Okay, I think that's good. Got a Christmas tree there. Well, that sucks. And we got a connector here. Oh, we got two connectors. Okay. Let's take out that mass airflow sensor wire. Okay. Got that disconnected. How is this main thing hooked up? Oh, there's a cap. And then there's a bolt. So I think it's going to be easier to access that bolt once I get this alternator out. And then we're also going to need to take that pulley off. And let's see what millimeter we need. 13, good guess. So there's one bolt, a bracket. Looks like we need a short 13. Maybe an extension would help. Okay, so got that off, and that looks like it might be a 12. Nope. 11. Okay, got a couple little shorty bolts here. Hopefully I got the right one. Okay, it looks like this thing here is different. But all the wires and connections look good. So let's see if we have a socket big enough to get this off. I don't think we do. Got our 19 here. Huh. Alright, I'm gonna have to dig through some tools and get some bigger sockets. Alright, so we know a 19 was too small. Let's try our biggest one. Perfect. Oops, that's tighten. Okay, so we got that bad boy off. Stick that on. It's a factory spec. Now, we need to take this plastic thing off, because, like, I don't know how we're supposed to connect this up with this thing in the way. Ooh, that's bending my pick. Okay. Easy enough. There's another little plastic bit. I think I left the nut for this back here. Okay, so that goes there. Well, I'll be darned. And plug this guy in if we can, and this guy in. Okay, so now guess we don't need to take this Christmas tree out because it was attached on the bolt like that. So we'll get this long donger in there. Okay. Oh, need the deep socket. Okay. Let's go back to the stubby. Looks like our belt's lining up. We're gonna, of course, tighten all of our bolts to the German bolt spec, which is oh man, I'm getting low on battery. So our German spec is good and tight. Well, okay, that ain't going nowhere. Well, we got to put on our cap to the negative bolt. This goes with the old alternator. And now we need to not forget that. See anything wrong with that? I think we're good. How's our air filter doing? Oh, it's got some dust. Well, she's got a few miles left in it. Let's plug in our mass airflow again. Let's do up our air filter clippies. And let's redo our air intake. And I think we are done. Man, one thing I do love about this Milwaukee pack out kit is it is so easy to see when you have all of your tools back where they go. And of course, having them in a pack out format, also very nice. All right. Oh. Okay. Now we'll take our little tester donger thing. All right, so I can already see we're charging. We're at 14 volts. Oh wait, I gotta push enter. All right, testing. Ha. All right, looks like we're nominal. So, there we go. That's about it as far as alternator goes. I might have mentioned earlier in this video that we need to do a service on this and shocks. I'm not going to do that right now because it's still wet. Just to show you, I did spring for Bilstein shocks. I can show you those right now. So there's all the hardware down in there and new shock. For now, I'm only doing the fronts. I'm going to see how that does as far as stuff goes and get all that ready. Do have a baby on the way, so having bad shocks in your pick-em-up truck to drive your wife around, not ideal. On Cowboy Cadillac, we've gone 3 months, I believe, since I did the clear coat on this guy. We do have a low tire up here. This is not holding air. It will over a couple of days, but it goes flat. And this is kind of how the clear coat has held up over 3 months. I have not washed it. I have not really done anything with it. So it's February 1st as of the filming of this part of the video for the Ranger, but I actually did this clear coat in mid-November. So it's gone through a whole Utah winter. I have not cleaned this or really done anything to it. Birds have pooped on it, all of that. The clear coat has held up pretty well. I will be doing a little bit more of an in-depth video on this again because we have to take care of that tire. And we also have to redo our lug nuts on the C10 because I don't know if you've noticed in videos or not, but C10 is not rocking a full set. There's some of these wheels that only have 3 or 4. I think on the other side, yeah, this one's missing one. And all of these lug nuts are kind of mismatched, especially on the passenger side. So we're gonna need to replace them. It also just needs to have the brakes inspected. Like an idiot, I was driving around with the emergency brake or parking brake on, and so I'm pretty sure that's cooked all of the brake fluid out of this thing that was probably not in great shape to begin with. So we're going to need to do a brake inspection and probably a bleed. One thing that you can do, especially on these older vehicles, is you actually want to do a gravity bleed on your brake lines. And the reason for that is the rubber brake hoses that go to your brake parts, if they are swollen and no good, they might look good on the outside, but they could be swollen and, you know, messed up on the inside. If that's the case, you will not be able to gravity bleed them. They're not going to have enough flow to actually come out. So we'll do a gravity bleed, see if we need to replace any lines. And honestly, I have zero insight on what the condition of the brakes are in general. So that'll be coming up in a video. Aside from that, that's your alternator job on a Ford Ranger. And not much else to say about it. It looks like it's charging, and we'll be back up running and reliable again. As always, I appreciate you guys for watching. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe if you want to see more videos, including our shock job, service, and other stuff going on with the channel and our vehicles. We've got a lot of potential content coming up. We've also got our Volkswagen Beetle that needs a lot of work. And I'm probably going to end up doing a revival on this vehicle. This has been parked pretty much right here since 2008. So that'll be an interesting bit of content as well. This is a turbo 1.8 liter Volkswagen. I can show you very quickly. And there's some missing parts, as you can see here. So we will have some potential content to do on this guy as well. So like I said, I'm not telling you guys what to do. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. If you like the video, subscribe, and come back here for more content later. Thanks, guys.